Well, it is wedding season, and if you are picked to give a toast, we have the experts here to tell us what to do and what not to do when giving a toast. We have Katrin, Kern, and Korbel. Now, you guys are personal public speaking specialists. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for bringing champagne. Oh, fabulous.
Little Martinelli's.
Oh, thank you. Now, how did you two become experts on toasting?
Well, it was through our own experiences and our own quests, actually, to become experts at such a thing. You know, if you can be. It's a pursuit, I would say. I don't know if you can ever achieve perfection, but it's something that we experienced ourselves, right, Chris?
Well, Katrin has given some great toasts, and I now know what it's like to give some bad toasts.
So what are some of the big, we have 5 myths we're going to go over, and we'll tackle those as we head through the segment, but how did you come across is it through experience, is it through observation, is it through stories anecdotally, or how did you come across
All
these?
of the above, wouldn't you say?
Well, I've been a best man twice, and I certainly know what it's like to give
different weddings, right?
I should hope so. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think it was. It's a blur.
Yeah.
If you've ever been a best man, you know it sometimes feels like it's just one long day.
Yeah.
And that's great. I know what it's like to give a great toast, and as I said before, I know what it's like to just stink up the place.
Okay, well, myth number 1 that you've given us is the person giving a toast should always begin by tapping their glass with a utensil, right?
Yes.
And announcing, I'd like to propose a toast. And the reason why that isn't a good thing to do is?
Well, etiquette actually states that you should never tap on your glass with a utensil. But aside from that, it can just be plain confusing, because in some cultures, actually at a wedding reception, when you tap on your glass, the whole crowd starts joining you because it's a sign for the bride and groom to kiss.
Yes.
And so what can happen is if you start tapping on your glass, people think, oh, let's all tap on our glasses, and then the bride and groom kiss, which is lovely, but it's not what you were trying to do, and the moment just goes by, and you better start again. So what you have to do, we say, what etiquette states is you stand in your place, you raise your glass, and you actually wait for the crowd to notice that you're ready to speak.
This next myth deals with, I guess, length. Is it best to have it short and sweet?
Well,
You know, there's nothing sweet about a short wedding toast. It's just short. You're just shortchanging the significance of the event. Here you are, someone really close to you has found the love of their life. They're entering into this wonderful long-term relationship. People want to know about them. They want to know what you think about the couple. They want to have someone come in and articulate the joy of the moment. They're not waiting for you to get home to get your socks out of the laundry. So make every moment count, but don't waste any time either.
So can you quantify that time at all, like a range, for example?
Again, people are like tailors. They think, oh, I should be 5 minutes, I should be 7 minutes. If you ever saw Hamlet and you hear that soliloquy, you don't go, oh, it'd be a little bit better if it was 3 minutes. Rule of thumb, 5 to 7 minutes, but there could be a great 10-minute one too.
Right.
And should you speak off the cuff, or should you actually write it down?
Always write it down. And what else?
well, we say if you have some time at home to improvise that great toast, come up with those wonderful moments, capture those, and then put them into a rehearsed toast. Because really, confidence is so important, and it's not only the confidence that comes from just, knowing your relationship with the person you're toasting, it's also the confidence with being ready to say what you're going to say.
And you're always going to hit a home run when it comes to poetry and a song, is that correct?
Well, what we say is poetry and songs are ideal for wedding ceremonies. They have beautiful heightened emotions. However, when you are actually giving a personal tribute, those songs and those poems were never written to be a personal tribute. So you want to keep the point of view front and center of your own point of view front and center, is what I'm trying to say, by limiting referenced works to about 20%. Borrow their sentiments, borrow passages from them, but this is a case where your words are actually better than Walt Whitman's or Paul McCartney's.
I was going to, if you're given a toast and you're the best man, is it a big boo-boo not to mention the bride, as far as, because you're meant to be there for the groom, for the husband.
Absolutely.
But,
sorry.
No, let's go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, look, to half the room, the people who know you, the bride's a stranger. To the other half of the room who don't know your friend, he's a stranger. You're there to kind of bridge the gap and say, hey, these are two great people.
What if you don't know the bride very well? What if for some reason, distance has kept you apart? Any advice on how to bridge that gap?
Absolutely. Well, you got to go out of your way, talk to your friends. Say, what do you like about her? How'd you guys meet? What is special? Ideally, and this is something where I feel like if you're going to get married, you're choosing a best man or you're choosing a maid of honor, there's no crime in you sharing your feelings about the person you're going to marry. You know, so I would hope if you're a groom, you're not going to leave your best man out in the cold.
Right.
But if not, yeah, take advantage of that. Ask how you met, why you like her, and why you're marrying her.
Okay.
Okay, I've been to several weddings where maybe the toast was a little bit embarrassing, including my own. So, is that something that's a good thing or a bad thing? Do you want to maybe, you know, have a little fun with it?
Well, you know, you don't want to humiliate anybody. But at the same time, there is nothing wrong with a little good-natured embarrassment. I mean, hopefully, the person you're toasting, you know, has some feet of clay. They've got a little quirk. And if they aren't aware of it, I'm sure half the people in the room are. So you don't want to make it sound like a eulogy. You give them a little bit of the humanity, and it goes a long way in endearing us to them.
Yeah.
We're running out of time here, but we want to give you a chance to plug your website. You mentioned humor is not a good thing, at least not too much. Talk about your website really quick before we have to end the segment.
Okay, well, if you go to if you Google freetoastadvice.com, you can get a free PDF. It's tips for how to be cool while giving a warm toast.
And at the website, you'll find tons of free information on how to give a great toast.
Very cool. Thanks for the tips, guys. We learned a lot today.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Coming up next on Bridge Street, we're learning about a new show on ABC Family Bunheads. We're talking to one of the stars, Sutton Foster. Stay tuned.